Hi, Zizaran here with another video, and I wanted to make a little talk going over the current 325 league and a little bit like a few days in impressions. I did already have a video with my very first impressions, but I want to talk about some things that I think can be improved with the league and suggestions I would make for making it better. And I do want to preface this with saying I think it's a very good league. I think there's very little that really does need to be fixed. I would even say that it is the second best league they have ever done start-wise. I think the only league that has been as smooth at league start was Sentinel, at least that I can think of without really doing a little bit more research, but the only league I felt was this smooth was Sentinel, with like very few disasters and stuff. Obviously we had the 5 or Brother's Gift divination card thing, but in general, just very smooth, and I am enjoying it a lot. And I've seen so many people say this is the best league ever, and I'm very much constantly getting asked like if I can rate the league. I generally don't like rating the league early because honestly, every league is very exciting at the start, in my opinion. Even the bad ones like Necropolis and Calandra are all pretty exciting at the start because it's a new league, it's fresh, there is new stuff added no matter what. So I always like to have like a retrospective very late in the league. Like my last retrospective of Necropolis, I was like, yeah, this is garbage. So let's get into it, and I'll start with the bad things. There is actually a lot I like, and I'm having a lot of fun, but there are some things that I would really like to see an improvement on. And I'll start with recombinators. I've seen a lot of other streamers talk about this too, and you know, Ben and Tuna and loads of people have been like, recombinators are dead. Ben said they are recombinators only in name, blah. And I agree. They are very bad right now. I was not expecting this much of a nerf, and I actually was hoping they would get nerfed. I was hoping they would get nerfed specifically with the double fracture thing, because I think you should be able to move fracture from one base to another. I just don't think you should be able to have 2, 3, or 4 fractures on one item. I think that's stupid. And thankfully, we're never able to have fractured influenced items with recombinators at any point, so that's good. However, right now, it just seems like a different version of the more likely craft. And the more likely craft is also quite bad. I have been trying to use it this league in hopes that it was buffed, but I haven't had much success on it. It did feel slightly better, but again, small sample sizes, so it could just be RNG. But not had any item crafted with it, so not anything successful. But recombinators right now, I've been trying to use it on super simple, like not greedy crafts. I'm talking literally one axe with dot multi on it, and still being on a warlord base, and another axe with the physical damage over time. And all I wanted was the physical damage over time and the dot multi. So far, I'm 21 attempts deep without a singular one of them taking, with pretty much every good mod getting deleted every time. I think only 3 out of the 21 even kept one of the good mods on the final X. So it was like so incredibly bad, and I realized it does still have the potential to do really good crafts, because I have seen a few people have been really lucky and crafted them, but consistency wise it seems like the majority of people that are using them are consistently just ruining items. And this is fully upgraded, so you do have the rare modifiers are more likely to be retained, and 5% chance to upgrade tier. I don't think I've ever seen that I upgrade a tier. So that is really, really sad. I did also say this already to GGG, but my suggestion would be that you make a slider system. And I did already mention this to them, but yeah, a slider system where you have like a minimum cost, and then you can slide like up to like, I don't know, 100,000, 200,000, whatever seems fair for a really good recombinator, or back to the original recombinator. Because yeah, it's very sad for me, because this was the single most exciting thing for about this patch. I think it just changes the way we look at gear and items, but when it is like a 95% chance to ruin the gear, then it's not that exciting. So there is some functionality that is being removed from recombinators as well, and that was, for example, moving something that is only on a strength base to an int base, right? Like something that's maybe drop only, an essence mod, or particularly moving suppression onto armor gear. And I thought that was a really fun way to craft, that you, like, yeah, you will have to pay more and it will be more expensive, but you can do these like weird things, and it gives the game a very different approach. So I think that would be interesting to see back, especially at some sort of dust cost. Because between the boats and the recombinators, you would actually have like, you know, different reasons to use different spends. And that makes you incentivized to keep wanting to dust expensive things and having a good dust income. That's pretty much everything with recombinators. As long as we can move stats to bases where they don't necessarily belong, I think that'd be cool, and be able to move fractures and stuff. And just make it a bit more usable. Other than that, I do want to move on to the Wildwood. I think the Wildwood is in an incredibly bad shape, and sort of Ritual too. Ritual, even after the nerfs, is very deadly. But Wildwood, and again, this is something I've seen other people say as well, feel very mutual here with a lot of other streamers, where you are basically making them tanky for no reward. Like it is not really noticeable that there are different drops at all. If you told me that like it only adds 5% quant, I would believe you, because I think there is a more noticeable difference in rolling a map 120 quantity versus 80 versus doing like a 3000 juiced Wildwood. All I notice is that the enemies are taking longer to kill. Thankfully, I have bleed explosions, so they do just pop when one pops. But the Wildwood seems really bad. So that was a little sad. Another thing that can be a little bit stressful this league is gold costs. And I honestly don't think gold costs are bad when you are doing tier 17 maps, or if you're blasting tier 16s. But there are a lot of different ways to play this game, and you should maybe not necessarily always be expected to be blasting tier 16s, or especially tier 17s. And now that I've already hit level 100, I'm making a new character, and I'm like, I don't have enough gold to make a new character. Like, I'm not going to be making a gold income for like 8 hours or 6 hours. So I actually have to grind for 6 hours to play 8 hours on my ult, but then like maybe you have to go to bed. And obviously like there are a lot of gold anxieties right now, right? You have to grind before you went to bed. Like, at least for me, like last night, I was like, oh, I want to go to bed, but I only have 30,000 gold. So I grind out 200,000 gold, then I go to bed. Instead of making a character, I'm like, oh, I want to make a new character now, but okay, let's grind out gold first, and then I make a new character. But something that's even worse, arguably, is the side content gives so little gold. Now, you're already punished from the fact that you are not able to get the Mind Ore. Like, if I'm doing Sanctum or Blight maps or anything like that, I'm not getting Bismuth, Verisium, anything like that, and I'm getting very little gold. So, if anything, side content should give 10x more gold, so that, yeah, you are not getting any of the Mind Ore, but at least you are getting gold, like a decent amount of gold. Like doing Blight Ravish maps gives me like 3,000 to 6,000 gold, but it takes like 6 or 7 minutes to do one, including looting. Whereas, you know, blasting a tier 16 fully cleared takes a minute and a half, and I get 11 to 13,000 gold. So gold anxiety is real. First I was thinking it was going to be okay, but then when you throw in side mechanics and alts and stuff like that, it becomes really stressful. And this will lead me to one of my new topics, but the mappers, which I don't think are very good right now, is also particularly very not good because of the gold cost. Just activating my mappers adds 35,000 gold per hour as a wage cost, putting my total up to roughly 60,000. And I don't have a single mapper level 10 yet. This is just level 9 mappers. So it is pretty insane. They are clearing tier 16s, but the mappers seem incredibly not worth it. If I was just blasting tier 16s, I would keep them up, and I am getting divines and okay rewards. But listen, I don't necessarily think the loot needs to be changed. Maybe they should start dropping Shaper and Elder Guardian maps, because I haven't seen that yet, and like way less than I would be dropping myself from tier 16s. But yeah, I would love to see Shaper, Elder, Conqueror maps dropping, and not necessarily a loot increase, just a gold decrease, because right now it's painful. Another final thing that I do want to talk about, which necessarily isn't something they will address this league, or maybe it doesn't even have to be addressed, but I've never seen early defenses so bad. I've been playing hardcore trade, and just the insane amount of people, really good players and streamers dying, is staggering. Like, you'd have to be so good to not die this league. No, I've been playing it very safe because defenses are so insanely rough. But I've been really struggling trying to make like Pathfinder work or Trickster work early. I'm like, man, I need so much currency and so much gear to make up for the huge loss that the fist damage taken as Ellie has left. And on the right side, I really struggle getting endurance charges. I don't have a good way to get them, so I'm like, I mean, I can't just use Rallycash's Impatience on every single build. So that is something I've been struggling with, um, and will continue to struggle with. Yeah, the fact that we lost like half of determination and half grace and all the fist taken as elemental in the same patch was way too much defensive shuffling to do in one patch, and the base types do not make up for it because you get them very late, and it is really really hard for every build to get that amount. Like it's 190 or 170 strength index for some of the bases, so it's like it's really hard to fit and make work in a lot of the builds to make up for that defensive hole. So obviously the new bases are supposed to address the defensive hole a bit, but it's difficult. I do love the new base types, and I do think that's a good idea, but I also think we lost a little bit too much fist damage taken as. That being said, I am really enjoying it, and lastly, really made me appreciate scarcity more. We are obviously... I've seen a lot of people complaining about really investing into your maps and stuff is really bad compared to before, and I agree, like really buffing up your maps and blasting is definitely not in a good state, but I'm still enjoying that more than the infinite everything lastly. But yeah, blasting is a little bit eh. So I think a happier medium can be reached there, but I'm enjoying the league a lot. A lot of things are worth a lot. There's a lot of things to chase. Maybe a bit too many problems to solve between like mana and everything in a build. Like I find mana very hard to solve right now on a lot of builds. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. I think the town is really well done. Like aside from like gold being a little bit anxiety inducing, like such a cool mechanic. I love that they experiment with this shit. Very incredibly happy. Like it's so well designed. This could honestly be a completely separate game. In fact, this is what I've always said that PoE Mobile should be. PoE Mobile should be basically an idle game, which would be a more advanced version of the King's March, where the features they talked about that were too complicated that they removed, like gearing up your exiles, choosing their builds and stuff, that would be so fucking sick as a standalone mobile game. Like I don't like mobile games. I think they're usually trash, but that actually sounds super fun. Like fully managing the King's March with like a lot more management would be really fun. I don't think that would be a good thing for Path of Exile because I think that's too much to do on top of an already existing game. But I just wanted to make this video talking about what I think should be improved. They're already doing so many good things, and I'm loving the league. We got so many quality of life things. The game is in a great base state, and there's so many fun builds to try. So honestly, like I hate rating the league early because I love getting the full retrospective later on, but my early impression would be like a 9, honestly. Like it's a blast, and that's including all of those downsides and things that I think should be improved. But at least my impression, and I hope a lot of you feel the same way, is there are very minor tweaks that will make this into an absolutely S-tier league. So either way, I hope you guys are having as much fun as I am. Thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than our gold does.